Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. As luck would have it, there's construction going on behind my wall right now. So, you know, all of a sudden I'm hearing this banging, but we here anyway. We are here. Hello, you guys. Oh my goodness gracious, it's so good to be with you guys for another episode of Untangled. We're on episode 26. And let me know how the sound is. How is the sound? And just want to confirm that you guys can all hear me. Construction going on in my head. Yeah. Hello, everybody. Hi, Lorie and Mr. Floyd, Michael, Lynn, Michelle, Kelly, Tanya, Martin, Taz, Ariel, Astrid, Yoga Jogai, Adele. So many of you. Where are you all from? All over the world. I love it so much. I love it. I love it. Canada, Russia, Vermont, Quebec, London, Sweden, New Jersey, the Big Island, Florida, Glastonbury, Finland, Denmark. Oh, I'm so sorry, Brittany. I'm glad that you're here with us. Really annoyed that there's freaking banging going on behind me, but first world problems, big deal, you know? So before I get going, there's one announcement that I want to make that I just felt really called to make. So many of you know, many of you don't know that I have an online community on Patreon. I've had it for about 3 years now, and I love it. It's where I show up the most. I give my most to this online community. I show up 5 times a month live, and this coming up Saturday, I felt called to share with you guys that one of the live events that I'm doing in my online community is a channeling. I channel messages from typically what's been coming in this past year are humans that have passed, like famous people that have passed. They come in and they provide us with information and messages. I don't channel in public anymore. I don't channel for YouTube. I don't channel for Instagram or Facebook. I don't channel very much anymore, but I do channel messages once a month on my Patreon community. And we're doing our next channeled message on Saturday, the 19th at 1 p.m. California time. I don't know why I feel called to share that with you guys, other than it could be they're all very powerful messages. But this one may be extra powerful. Maybe that's why I'm sharing it. I'm not sure. And I never know who comes through until the morning of the day of. I literally do not know who's going to come in until I show up and kind of close my eyes. And then it's like, boom, here's this individual. And there have been really interesting people that have come through. We had Bob Marley. We had Marie Antoinette. We had Admiral Byrd. We had, who else did we have, you guys? We had Joan of Arc, King Arthur. We had some pretty amazing energies come through this year. But anyway, I don't know who's coming in and on Saturday, but it's a really powerful experience. If you've never sat with a live channeling before, it's really potent. And even the replay is potent because you get to actually feel the energies of the individual or consciousness that comes in. Yes, we did Prince, but Prince was before this year. It's really it's these channeled messages are they don't fix us, okay? Nothing I do fixes you. I hope it doesn't fix you because there's nothing to fix, right? These channeled messages are remembrances. The live meditations that I do, remembrances. The Q&As that I do, remembrances. The group coaching call that I do on Patreon, I do a group coaching call. It's just you asking me a question and I just guide you back to you. I also offer 3 free 30-minute sessions for free in my Patreon community. Again, I hardly ever talk about my community, um, but if you're ever looking for a session with me, you can get a free one through my Patreon community once a month. Once a month, I give 3. But anyway, I'm really excited to see who comes through this Saturday, the 19th at 1 o'clock California time. I will leave the link down below for Patreon for that online community. And if you're curious, you can join and you can always unsubscribe at any moment. Um, you get the whole month if you join. You do get the whole month. And you have all the replays. There's hundreds of replays of meditations, of all of it. There's so much, and there's so much juice. But the channeled messages, um, yeah, they're pretty good. The last one that we had come in, who came in last month, you guys? Do you guys remember who came in last month? Um, I can't remember. Saint Augustine. Thank you. Yeah, Saint Augustine. And I was like, who's Saint Augustine? But anywho, Saint Augustine came in. It is what it is. Welcome to life. So let's get going. Let's go. I have to say that I am feeling more and more. Um, if you guys have been watching Untangled every week, if you've been watching me, you know that I don't sugarcoat what I'm going through. I don't pretend to have my shit together. I don't pretend that I know the answers for anything. I just know that I'm here to show up as brutally honest as I can with regards to my process of evolution. And whatever that looks like to me, I want to share with you so that it somehow allows you to recognize that you're not crazy and that this is a juggling act, right? This is a multidimensional juggling act. This to me is not about being somewhere, getting somewhere, shifting out of anything. So, the last couple of weeks, if you are unaware, a couple of weeks ago, I chipped my tooth randomly, like literally walking down the street, chipped my tooth, and then I got a broken blood vessel under my eye a couple days later. And I've spoken to you guys about this already, so I don't need to go into more detail, but it was a very, very powerful physical sign that if I don't stop the very destructive beliefs and thoughts that I hold around myself, my physical body, how I need to keep it perfect, how I need to control the physical body, how I need to pay attention to what I'm eating and not eating. Like for me, that has been the biggest sort of demon inside of me that has controlled me, the biggest fear. And for me, it literally took 2 physical experiences to rattle me out of to say enough is enough. And ever since that, which was a couple of weeks ago, it's almost as if those quote unquote demons, I'm just calling it demons just because it's energies that there's not really a lot of words that I can describe, right? They have dissolved, they're gone. And the lesson for me and what I want to share with you guys is that our deepest fears are the greatest gifts that we have. What we are most afraid of, right? Um, what we are most afraid of is what is going to set us free. And many times, what we are most afraid of, we don't even know. We can't even see or feel. We don't even realize that we have deep, deep fears, right? So, if I think about what was I most afraid of, okay? Because you literally for me, I had to dissect like, okay, well, these are limiting beliefs that are coming up. These are limiting beliefs around my body. These are limiting beliefs around food. This is limiting beliefs around worthiness, these are limiting beliefs, right? So when I finally said, "Okay, I need to stop these limiting beliefs and these thoughts," meaning I have to literally let them almost dissolve or burn in the fire, which means that I'm done. I'm just done. Then the deeper fear was experienced. And that deeper fear that I wasn't aware of because the behaviors and thoughts and beliefs were in front of it, making me believe, right, that there really wasn't a fear. The deeper fear was unconditional love. Can I can I unconditionally love myself no matter what? And can I believe that somebody else can unconditionally love me? Now, if you're anybody that has ever had an eating disorder or you have placed so much emphasis on your physical body, right? If you believe that there is a you have to have a very nice looking physical body, that there is merit to that, and that there is some sort of you are more loved or more liked or more admired if you have a nice physique. There's a deeper fear you might want to look at. I'm not saying that it is not important to be healthy. Health has nothing to do with what your physical body looks like. And so many times we disguise this deeper fear of simply just being accepted and loved for who we are with, "Oh, no, 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 I just wanna look good." Really? What if all of this was taken away from you? What if you could no longer exercise? What if you could no longer choose what you were going to eat? Meaning, like, you weren't in control of your healthy diet. What if all of these things got pulled from you? That was what was shown to me when I got the black eye, that this can get so bad, Lorie, that you won't be able to choose any longer, and you will be sort of succumbed to a deeper sense of letting go, or you can choose right now. So, all of this, I'm sharing all of this to say to you, what is the first of all, can you recognize any limiting belief that you have? Anything that you are using to convince yourself that you are something, right? I need this because of dot, dot, dot. I'm not worthy of this because of dot, dot, dot. I won't have this because of dot, dot, dot. That's the initial limiting belief, right? And there is a deeper fear that's underneath that. What is that for you? Typically, a fear is very simple. Fears are not complex, they're very simple. I'm afraid of worthiness. I'm afraid of being worthy. I'm afraid of being seen. I'm afraid of my voice. I'm afraid of unconditional love. I'm afraid of loneliness. I'm afraid of, right? You want to dive into that fear because it is the resistance through the limiting beliefs that are perpetuating that fear, that are keeping you chained up, restricted, not in the highest potential that you have here on the planet. And this fear is all over the planet. Fear is what controlled us for 3 years. Fear is what killed so many people in 3 years. Fear is what is continuing to kill people. Fear is what separated family members. Fear is what distracts us from our own evolution, from our own expansion. Fear will convince you of so much. It will disempower you. And fear is simply it's like a ghost, an illusion. Truly it is. It dissolves the moment you scream it. It dissolves the moment you stand in it. It dissolves. It doesn't mean that it's not going to necessarily show up, but from my own experience, it may pop its head up, but it has no voice. It doesn't make any sense anymore. When you truly step into that deep, deep fear, it dissolves. It doesn't have a grip on you anymore because you have seen it and you didn't run from it. Another thing that's you guys know this, so this is like a record repeating itself, okay, for me. But another thing that has been coming up for me. So with regards to my body, I want to finish this. With regards to my body and the way I view my body and how I was so controlling and all of that, there is a freedom that I have that I can't explain how I got here, other than the black eye and the chipped tooth and the choice I made of enough is enough. I'm done. If you want freedom bad enough, you will say enough is enough. And it's not until you get to that place of enough is enough that enough will be enough. And I pray that for you, it doesn't become physical, meaning something physically doesn't happen to you. But for many of us, we have to literally physically be kicked to the ground sometimes in order to say, okay, enough is enough. But you have to be observant enough. You have to actually be conscious and aware. And you have to be able to be self-exploratory, like exploring what is occurring within you. Otherwise, many will blame the external. I can't believe I got this chipped tooth. What the freak? I can't believe I got a black eye. This sucks. Why would this happen to me? This is so unfair, right? And it's like, no, 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 no. You're actually trying to get you to look at something so that you can be free. Period. And I've said this many, many times, and I truly, truly believe this. And I just saw a statement or a comment that from this statement that I made, which is that I truly believe no matter who you are, that you are always serving yourself in order to evolve. That everything that is happening to you is happening for you. And there was a comment this morning on that video. And I believe that with all my heart because I don't believe that anything is an accident. I believe that we live in an absolute divine design, that there is a consciousness that you are that is so much bigger than what you give yourself credit for. Meaning this consciousness that you are, this consciousness that is life, this consciousness that is God, that is source, that it whatever, is so much more intelligent than the actual physical experiences that you're having on the planet. This is an illusion. Right? It doesn't take away from the fact that rape and torture and murder and neglect and pain and disease and famine and taking away human rights. That doesn't mean that these things aren't real and that they aren't happening and that they are not horrible. There are horrible things happening on the planet. There are horrible things that a lot of us have to go through. That doesn't mean that there isn't a divine design that is working its way through all of that. That is the multidimensional awareness. That is the very difficult, very challenging multidimensional juggling act. That you look at the atrocities and you say, that is not okay, right? And you simultaneously understand that there is absolutely a divine design in all of this. That nothing is happening on accident. And then you can literally jaw drop and say, I don't know how that's possible. Great. There is still a more potent consciousness that is so much more intelligent than the awareness that you have right now. Right? The awareness that you have right now is minuscule to the awareness of consciousness, which is you. So this individual said, this what you think this all of a sudden this is an awareness that occurred right now? People don't understand what I say, and so they take it and like mix it all around. And they said, well, what about, child abuse and this and that? And how could that possibly be, some sort of universal law that's happening for people? And that's a valid question because it's extremely difficult. It's extremely difficult to look at what's unraveling on the planet and to say to yourself, there is a divine design called evolution and consciousness that is occurring right now. Every consciousness knew that what it was incarnating into. There's no accidents. Like, how the fuck did I find myself in the human body? That is not possible, right? That's not possible. Now, once you get into the human body, there is so much that unravels by chance that it can feel very chaotic and disruptive, very unfair, and that's okay. That's one of the balls that we juggle, right? So there isn't. It's not black or white. It's not absolutes. It's all of it. And for my own personal experience, I'm capable of holding a lot of different views, a lot of different lenses, a lot of different awarenesses, right? When one of the awarenesses that I hold is that everything is happening for us. And I hold an awareness that that's not fair all the time, that that really fucking sucks. That if I lived in a country where I was starving, that would be very difficult for me to hold. So it's all of it. It's all of it. And I think that that is one of the most courageous aspects of waking up, of evolving, of stepping into more of an expanded state of awareness, is that you're not defined by this physical reality, but you also give, you give, you give um, accolades to this physical reality. This idea of the purple pill or whatever, right? Where it's like, there is no right or wrong. You want to stand in neutrality. I don't think I don't think we're capable of doing that yet. We're not at that state of awareness yet. I think that if you saw somebody kill a dog, you would immediately think maybe that's not right. I don't know many humans that would stand there and be like, that's okay. It just is. I'm gonna be neutral. Taking that purple pill or whatever that's called, like where the violet pill or something where people that the spiritual community talks about, it's like, no, we have to we have to honor duality and polarity. Because here's the thing. The more you realize that you are not this physical reality, which you are not, the more you are okay accepting and honoring the duality and polarity. You're not trying to ignore or pull yourself out of duality and polarity, which is right, wrong, good, bad, fear, love, pain, joy. You're not trying to be only in what feels good. You're not trying to be like, I should be in a neutral state all the time. That is actually an egoic structure trying to understand what's happening, being told by somebody else what's actually occurring on the planet and what you need to be doing in order to be an evolved human. And then you're trying to control the natural state of your being, which is that you're going to think things are good and bad, right and wrong. Welcome to duality. You're not escaping duality. Our states of awareness are not there yet. Our states of being are not there yet. We're creeping there. We're slowly practicing it, right? You'll start to find yourself being able to hold that more and more, but we got to get brutally honest. And again, the more that you are no longer trying to escape that what you are in is the moment you free yourself from what you're in, right? The more you stop believing that you're any of this is the moment that you free yourself from it. And when you free yourself from it, you're not trying to run from it. When you're no longer afraid of a bully, you're not gonna run from the bully. And then the bully's just gonna be like, "Why are you not running from me?" And the bully's not gonna do anything. It's because you dissolve the fear of the bully. The bully is duality and polarity and anger and fears and chaos and evil and manipulation and mind control and all the shit that we're seeing. That's the bully. And what are you gonna do? Deny the bully, ignore the bully, try to positive think the bully into something else? No, you have to courageously stand in front of the bully and realize that the bully is simply the experience and it has no power over you. It has no control over you. It just is. And then you get to have all the human emotions around the fact that you're standing in front of a bully. And what is that telling you? And what is that showing you? And what are you feeling? It's the raw, authentic expression of just being in the human experience. The humble, raw, vulnerable, real, juicy experience of standing in front of a bully. The natural process of evolution or shifting into higher frequencies is naturally going to move you into more of a neutral state. It's naturally going to move you into more of a state of acceptance or love, surrender, peace, flow. These are things that naturally start to happen. How do I know that? Because it's been naturally happening for me. If you've been listening to me at all over the last 6 months, 7 months, year, 2 years, I don't force anything. I don't push myself into any states. I don't try to become anything. I simply show up and I share with you what's showing up. That's it. And then I'm like, oh, wow. Look at what happened here. Look at what happened here, right? Instead of me trying to figure out how to get out of something, how to fix something, how to change something, how to move into anything, I do the opposite. And where I am in my life right now is a state of being in a state of awareness that I always knew I would be able to step into. I just wasn't sure when and I didn't know how. But this version of me that I'm experiencing as the human that I'm identifying as me, even though it's not me, but it's the cartoon character that I am playing, is a version of me that I have been praying myself into for many, many years. And the way that I was able to and am currently being this version, this character that I am now, this new version, is that I just simply showed up. So, for instance, my foot's falling asleep. For instance, yesterday morning, if you guys know one of my insecurities, I am extremely insecure with my work. Just is. Eventually, maybe it will go away. I don't try to fix it, I just show up for it. And yesterday morning, I had a lot of anxiety in the morning because I was like, "Oh my," or maybe it was 2 mornings ago, I was like, "Holy shit. I'm not gonna make the impact I wanna make on the world. I'm going to kind of ride off into the sunset, and people aren't going to hear my messages. They're not going to remember me. They're not going to." I just had a lot of anxiety that I wasn't doing enough. I had a lot of anxiety that I wasn't expanding in my work or growing in my there was a lot that came through, and that happens often, and, I don't make it wrong, and I don't try to change it. I show up for it. Wow, okay. I don't say to myself, "There's something wrong with you, Lorie." I don't say to myself, "Lorie, you need to change this." I don't say to myself, "Lorie, that's not an evolved, version. That's not being in a higher frequency." I don't even say to myself, "Lorie, you need to change those thoughts." I don't. I simply observe them and I pay attention to the power that they are trying to have over me. So I become an observer, right? The observer isn't trying to change anything. The observer is simply observing what the human aspect is experiencing. Practice that. Simply observing is what shifts that which you're observing, that which you're experiencing. The moment you realize that you are experiencing thought is the moment that the thought loses its power. You become the observer. And as soon as you become the observer, and realize that you're not the thoughts. The thoughts not only don't have control over you, but you start to be able to move through your day no longer chained and reacting and responding based on the thoughts. The reason it's so difficult to step into the observer is because there is emotion that is felt with those thoughts. Anxiety, stress, I need to fix, I need to change, I don't like this, this is real. This is absolute truth, Lorie. You need to figure this out. You need to get out of this. You need to find resolution. You need to have a game plan. You need to have goals. The only reason we do that is because we don't, first of all, we're believing the thoughts. If you're reacting and responding from those thoughts, based on those thoughts, then you are believing the thoughts and the beliefs. And if you're believing the thoughts and the beliefs, then you are living in a version of you that has been controlling you for a very long time. And the way that you step out of and expand into new versions of yourselves that are not based on these limiting beliefs, the limiting beliefs are based on traumas from the past, is that you observe and you do nothing with it. And from that state, you pull yourself out of the limiting beliefs and thoughts and the stories that you're telling yourself. There's nothing to do when you become the observer. That's the most empowering state that you can be in until you start to actually be in the awareness that you're not even the observer. Then it's just like then you're just like this game is amazing. People think they've figured this game out, that they've stepped out of the matrix, that they've freed themselves from the matrix. I'm going to call massive amounts of bullshit on that because you are still unconsciously reacting and responding from limiting beliefs and behaviors and fears. Because if you were literally free from the matrix and the game, yet still playing in the game, you wouldn't be trying to run from anything, hide from anything, ignore anything, deny anything, pretend, go anywhere. You would simply be. Think about that for a moment. You would simply, if you were actually if you actually were no longer a part of the matrix, you would be so deeply in the matrix, you would be free. This human journey is not about getting out of a matrix or getting out of this game. This human journey is about remembering that you are none of it while you stand in all of it. There is no escaping or running from anything that's arising. And that cannot be said enough because most humans don't understand what that even means. They're not even aware that they are reacting and responding from deep, deep unconscious limiting beliefs and behaviors and thoughts. They've been so deeply programmed to run from the observer. So the humans are just on this hamster wheel of go, 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 fix, 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 change, change, change. Give me something to not feel. Tell me something so I can feel better. And unfortunately or fortunately, from my personal experience, the only way through this is through it. Pay attention to what you are running from. Pay attention to what you don't want to see. Pay attention to what you don't want to feel. Pay attention to your deepest insecurities. Pay attention to, and there's a lot of you on here that are like, I have none of those. Then pay attention to what you are focusing on in the external world. Pay attention to your attachments to wanting to change people, to wanting to change the world. It's the same thing. You have to become the observer of what is unraveling on the planet. This fixation on, the monetary collapse and all these things that may or may not happen, that is a distraction from simply becoming the observer. That is a need to be in control. I get it. It makes sense. Everybody wants to understand what's happening on the planet. They want to be prepared. They want to know what's coming in the future. Nobody knows what's coming in the future. And the fastest way out of the evolution on this planet and in the human body is to start dealing or talking about what's coming in the future. I promise you that if we stopped talking about all these things that were going to happen in the future, the planetary evolution would happen so much faster because we would no longer be concerned about what's coming, what's happening, what may occur, blah, blah, blah. None of that shit matters. What matters is, what are you seeing on the planet right now in front of you? What are your doctors saying to you? What are your politicians saying to you? What are your teachers? What's happening right here, right now? That is where the absolute most potent transformation happens. In fact, that's the only place massive transformation happens. But we're curious, right? And so we want to know all these things. It's a crutch. It's one of the reasons I stopped channeling, is because if I sat with higher dimensional consciousnesses or whatever and started bringing in information, what does it matter? Humans aren't actually showing up for life presently. They're still running from what is. It's a very old program to get caught up in, what's going to happen, what's coming, all of that. The most empowered state that we can be in, where we can make the most impact, is presence. When you go to your doctor, what are you experiencing? When you drop your children off at school, what are you experiencing? When you go to work, what are you experiencing? When you're watching the news, what are you experiencing? Meaning, what is being shown to you that is asking you to step out of it? What is still controlling you? Everything is about fear. All of it. And a layer up from fear is control. And above control is manipulation. Above manipulation, mind control. Disempowerment. And so here we are, getting upset with all these things and all these things that people are doing, and getting caught up in the storylines. None of it fucking matters. What matters is what is showing up for you, and how are you being of service to humanity in your moments. How are you serving based on the fact that you're here on a planet in a physical body capable of serving? How are you loving more humans? How are you holding compassion? I don't give a fuck that there might be a monetary collapse. How am I having compassion for the people that I can't freaking understand? How am I holding an awareness and a compassion and open-heartedness to these really horrific atrocities that are happening on the planet while I also simultaneously show up for my life and the people in it? How do I wake up every day and realize that there are these horrific things that are happening on the planet that will continue to happen on the planet, and we have barely touched the surface of what's going on the planet, by the way, ps.com. We have barely touched the surface. We have barely unraveled the horrific, horrible child trafficking that's occurring all over the globe in ways that literally would put us into a psychotic state. We're not ready for it, so it will not be shown to us. The planet is not ready. The amount of evil that is on this planet, most humans are not ready for. They would move into a psychotic break. It is that evil. So it is these baby steps. It is learning compassion for the simple things in life that you can't understand. Baby steps. Everything is opportunity for us to evolve on a planetary body as a human collective and as an individual collective. I'll give you an example. How in the heck am I going to be able to sort of move through whatever's coming down the chute if I literally get angry at the bicyclist that's in the middle of the road that somehow thinks that that's just what you do? I'm going to just bicycle in the middle of the road, and you're just going to have to wait for me and go as slow as I'm going because I'm the bicyclist and I'm just not going to move over. Like, come again? Can you, what the fucking, can you move the hell over? Like, move your bicycle over so that other people can also share the road with you. Like, if I have a hard time with that, okay, this is going to be an interesting ride, right? This whole idea, especially in the spiritual community, that we're like love and light, and like, ah, all is well. Hmm. I am okay with everything. I'm just going to hold love in my heart. I'm going to call massive bullshit on that. And if you're doing that, like, you must be bypassing this planetary evolution. You've got, there's no way you're seeing what's happening on the planet and just being like, oh, okay, this is love. All is well. Like, come again? You do realize that they are taking 8-year-old boys, scaring the shit out of them, and pulling blood out of their body in order to get parts of their blood that have adrenochrome in them and then selling it on the market. You do realize that's happening. Oh, love. All is well. I get that. I get that that is something that people use in order to navigate this entire holy shit evolution, like what is going on the planet. But don't deny yourself your evolution when you are showing that you're upset that there's a bicyclist in the middle of the road. That is the evolution. That is the shifting. That is the transformation. If you are ignoring and trying to be in this like state of beauty all the time, you're in for a rude fucking awakening. There is nothing wrong with getting angry. There's nothing wrong with getting upset. There's nothing wrong with getting frustrated. There's nothing wrong with rage and screaming and wanting to pull your hair out. There is nothing wrong with that. In fact, I would say that's the healthiest place to be because you are being your most authentic, expressed human in that moment. Anything other than truly experiencing what it is that that is arising within you, whether you like it or not, whether you're judging it or not, is your highest evolution. It's your highest state of being. It's your truest expression in that moment of the version of you that you have never been, but you are experiencing yourself as. And the more that you are understanding that you are none of it, that this simply is literally a game that you're in, and that your role and your job is to be in it, why are you pretending? Why are you pretending? I can't be upset. Mm, I've got to have love for everyone. I don't know. Am I the only one? I mean, I literally live, um, I live in an area that I refuse to move from for the simple fact that I am constantly seeing things that boggle my mind. I do not want to go live in some countryside that is peaceful and beautiful. I wouldn't mind having a second home somewhere where it's peaceful and beautiful and I don't have to be in the chaos, but I want to see the chaos. I want to be in the corruption because that is the fastest way through. You want to know how to learn compassion. You stand in the middle of people that you don't understand, not run to places where everyone's like you. It is very easy to hold compassion when everybody around you is thinking the same and feeling the same and being the same. Where you actually practice compassion is when you are in the midst of people, of humans that you can't comprehend, that you can't understand. Your jaw drops. And then you watch yourself. I yeah, I don't understand why people are still wearing masks. And the other night, this man walks out of the grocery store and takes his mask off, and I literally under I do everything I can to hold to practice compassion. I really freaking do. But I mumbled under my breath something to the effect of, "Good thing you took your mask off," or "Good thing you had a mask on." I can't remember what I said. And there was a part of me that was like, "I hope he heard me." And then there was a part of me that was like, "Lorie, do you realize what you just did?" And in all of those moments, I just observed myself. I just observed. Am I a bad person? I don't know. Lots of people would say I'm a bad person. Am I a good person? I don't know. Lots of people would say I'm a good person. Does any of it matter? No. Why? Because it is simply me moving through the most WTF global evolution that humanity has ever seen. And what does it look like? Somebody coming out of a grocery store, taking a mask off, and me literally saying something stupid under my breath. That is embarrassingly what the evolution looks like. It's embarrassing. It is so physical in front of us, and then it is so energetic within us. But the key is that there isn't a right or wrong way to get through this. This doesn't mean that there's not things that you say are right and things that you say are wrong. What I mean when I say there isn't a right or wrong way of getting through it is you're just getting through this. Stop making it right or wrong. Just get through it by just showing up in your most authentic expression. Try not to do harm. Try not to be a mean person. I mean, maybe I would have started a fight yesterday. That probably wouldn't have been good, right? So, you wanna not make it worse. You don't wanna go around starting fights. You don't wanna go around instigating things, and so for me, it was like, wow, deeper compassion. Oh, God, help us, deeper compassion, Lorie. Which also allows me to have more compassion for myself, right? It's interwoven. This is something that although there is an aspect of you within your DNA that remembers what this is all about, This is complex. It's also very simple. But this global awakening, this global evolution, this human collective evolving is complex. And yet it is very, very simple. And the simplicity of it is that we are none of this. We are simply in an experience that is described as an evolution in consciousness. We are not the evolution in consciousness. We are not this. That's the simplicity of it. The complexity of it is, wow, we believe ourselves to be all of these things. We are programmed, we are manipulated, we are mind controlled, we are poisoned, right? That is the complexity of it. Yeah, you can do anything you need to escape it, but just don't escape it. What's the point of going up on a spaceship if you're gonna constantly deny what you're in, right? So again, it's this multi-dimensional juggling act. I meditated this morning, went right up to my spaceship that I always go to, sat in the chair, was hanging out there, and it wasn't anything other than, "Oh yeah, look at this awareness. Oh yeah, look at this reality as well." Yep, that reality is happening at the same time as the reality that I have to open my eyes and do dot 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 and feel dot 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 and notice dot 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 and experience these fears. It is extremely important, in my opinion, that we stop trying to escape, that we stop trying to find quick fixes to get us out of what we're in. We use tools to assist us, meditations, music, people, travel, sun, nature, exercise, whatever it is. But if you are using it to escape what you don't wanna see or feel, just pay attention to that. If something or someone tells you that they're gonna be able to heal you, fix you, change you, activate you, pay attention to that. You're the only one. You're the only one. You're the only one that can say enough is enough. I don't care how powerful of a healer somebody is, they cannot pull the thoughts out of you. Even if they pull the energetic trauma out of you, they can't pull the thoughts. And it's the thoughts that are more powerful and potent than the energies that are in your body, unfortunately. So the more that we feel, the more that we express, the more that we stand in the energies, the more that we are not running from the energies, the more that we're not trying to fix the energies, the more that we just realize what is occurring, that we aren't it, we let it move through us, the louder the thoughts are going to get. And the louder the thoughts get, the stronger the muscle of the observer becomes. The more you can say, "Oh my God, this thought is so powerful. Wow." That's how a thought dissolves. There are these cyclical layers of evolution. It's extremely difficult to comprehend and to see, but I'm going to try to explain this in the last 6 minutes. Take it or leave it. You don't have to take it. You don't have to believe it, but this is how I see the evolution. There are layers. Okay, so I want you to imagine like a floor and then a floor and then a floor, okay? And depending upon what floor you're in, you're gonna do this sort of figure eight in each floor. So you're gonna feel like you're evolving out of things and you're finally successful and you're doing all these great things. And then maybe you're gonna fall into some sort of old pattern and you're gonna realize that this trauma is coming back, and then you're gonna fix it through that floor, that dimension. Okay, you're gonna fix the pain, the trauma, using the tools that are available in that floor. Okay, but you're still staying in that floor. So you're just doing a figure eight in that floor, which means that you think that you have, you know, mastered something. This is what manifestation does. It's like it brings you into this idea that you're like succeeding and doing all these great things. But really, what's happening is that you're simply just circulating within a dimensional field or a floor. Nothing wrong with that, because you will feel better as you're kind of healing and clearing out the trauma, but you're using the belief systems, paradigms, programming, healing modalities that are in that floor. So you will only be able to stay within that floor. Evolution is when you move into a new floor. When you evolve out of the ways in which this floor has taught you to heal. So instead of positive thinking, which is going to perhaps heal you, right? But you're going to stay in this floor. When you start to evolve, you realize that positive thinking or these different types of tools that you've been told aren't going to work up here. Now, all of a sudden, as you begin to evolve out of the old ways of doing things that are no longer going to resonate, you're going to find yourself on a new floor, a new dimensional field, so to speak, and you're going to start to do this figure eight there. So, what's a tool that's going to start working here that didn't work down here? Flow, observer, surrendered action. No longer controlling. These are tools that you're going to realize are going to assist you in continuing to evolve or heal, whatever we want to call it. It's not even healing, but let's just call it that, right? From a different state of awareness. So now you're looking down at the old floor that you used to be in and the ways in which you used to navigate it. And it's like, that doesn't even make sense anymore. Because you're pulling yourself now. It doesn't mean that people that are doing this aren't having great lives. They're just stuck in this field, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but this is an evolutionary shift in an entire human collective. It is asking us to jump up levels. It's asking us to jump up into another floor, another dimensional field of being, which requires us to start doing it differently, not the old way. And then we do that, and then we find ourselves in this figure eight, right? Where we're learning the observer allows us to move through things, and then all of a sudden we drop deep into fear, and we're like, okay, I'm moving more into a flow state, and then you drop deeper into codependency, right? And then you're realizing that you're going to surrender into that codependency and realize that you're not that codependency, right? So you're starting to use different tools that are allowing you to move through things a lot easier, healing a lot easier, and then you move again. So we have to pay attention to the ways in which we have been doing things, the tools that we have been using, and just pay attention. Are those tools keeping me in the illusion that I'm healing when all it's doing is keeping me stuck in a floor? It's just something to think about. It's something to look at. There are many examples of this, many teachings and books and tools and modalities that have healed us for hundreds of years in this floor, in this third dimension. It works. It will continue to work until you start evolving out of that floor. And as soon as you start evolving on an energetic level out of that floor, you're going to realize that the ways in which you were taught to do things down here are no longer resonating because your body is in a different frequency. It has evolved out of that lower floor. It's not lower or higher, it's just frequency, but that's just the words we're going to use, into a higher floor or a different floor. Pay attention to your resonance. Pay attention to fear. Sweet baby Jesus. That is so obnoxious. God bless, do less. And I just want to have some relief from it all. My recommendation for if you're like, I just want to have relief from it, Jesus. Thank God I'm not doing a meditation or a channeled message right now. I'm not even kidding. I'm leaving my house. If you're having, if you want relief from it all, my recommendation is to let go of wanting relief. Surrender deeper into what you're experiencing. So there's this really interesting thing that happens. I'm running over, but I just want to talk about this. When we are in something that we don't like, that we're tired of being in, that just continues to show up, we're exhausted. I'm so sick of this. Whatever that you're sick of is showing up in order for you to surrender so deeply into it that you're no longer controlling it. It no longer has control over you. You're no longer afraid of it, and you just drop into life. You just drop in. Stop trying to get out of and relieve yourself of anything. It's a state of awareness. It's a choice. I just want this to stop. I need relief. I encourage you to drop deeper into, go beyond this desire to have relief. Stop needing to have relief and see what that feels like. Because the desire to have relief is the denial of truly dropping into what you're experiencing because you don't want to experience it. So it's like we're on this cliff and we're like, I don't want to jump off the cliff. I'm so tired of standing on the edge of this cliff. It's such bullshit. Like, why do I keep having to try to balance on this cliff? This is so ridiculous. This takes so much energy. And it's like, stop balancing and just drop. You're the one that's making it all this effort. But I don't like what it feels like. Okay, drop. And I can promise you, you'll stop being in suffering. You don't need to balance. Drop. Drop into what is exhausting you. I hate my job. I hate my relationship. I hate where I live. I don't have any money. Drop into that. Drop deeper into it. I swear to you, the way to release and reduce suffering is to stop resisting what you're in and to stop trying to change or get out of what it is you're in. The moment you know that you're not what you are experiencing, there is no need to have a relief, is the moment the relief is gone. It's not easy. It's not easy to try to describe this. The only words that I can use is you have to just drop deeper into this whole idea that you want relief. Stop wanting relief. Watch what happens. What if there's never, ever going to be relief? That's not true, but let's just say it is. Are you going to continue to fight against what is? Surrender. Surrender into it. Let it just be. I want out of this. Stop wanting out of it. I want an answer. Stop wanting an answer. I want to know what to do. Stop wanting to know what to do. Drop into that which you are trying to get out of. And if you always feel like you're fighting, stop fighting. Stop fighting. Stop pushing against what is showing up. There is a need and desire for something more than what you have, and that's the fight. Drop into what simply is. Have the emotions around it. Be honest. I really wish it was different. Drop into, I really wish it was different. Drop into the illusion that you think you are. Any of it. The more that you can be so authentically, rawly, vulnerably in it, the more it dissolves. Sounds like you're in a cruise ship. Speaking of cruise ships, I think I'm going to be doing this cruise ship in April called An- Ancient Mysteries, a 7-day cruise with like all these other presenters. I haven't said yes yet, but I'm pretty close to saying yes. It's a 7-day cruise from LA down to like Mexico somewhere. Um, and there's like all these different presenters. And I think it would be fun. I mean, I've never done it. It's not something I would ever do or think of doing. Um, but I think it would be a lot of fun to connect with everybody. And you can buy tickets and you can be on the cruise with me. And yeah, I think it would be a lot of fun. So I'm going to make that decision today or tomorrow and then let everybody know. It'd be very cool. Yeah. So I wouldn't be running the cruise. I would just be a presenter on the cruise. But it would be a fun way to connect with more of you guys in person. I've never been on a cruise. I don't know what a cruise is like, but I've always wanted to. And it would be fun to be with you guys on a cruise for 7 days. It'd be a lot of fun. So I love you guys. Thank you for being here for another episode of Untangled, where we are literally making the uncomfortable comfortable and courageously navigating this really massive evolutionary shift in human consciousness. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to the channel. And if this video would resonate with somebody, please pass it on. There's some very weird algorithms that are happening right now with me and YouTube. And so I would appreciate the help of getting the videos for Untangled and any video really out there to more people. So please share this if there's somebody you know in your life that would benefit from this message. I love you guys so much. Thank you for being on this journey with me side by side as we walk through this beautiful, amazing battlefield and arena. And I will see you next Tuesday. Also, again, if you want to join us for the guided or the channeled message on Saturday, the 19th at 1 o'clock California time, I'm doing a very powerful, very potent channeled message in my online community on Patreon. The link is down below. This community is powerful. It's amazing. You can connect to people from all over the world. And I will see you next Tuesday, 9 a.m. California time for another episode of Untangled. Be gentle with yourself. Be gentle with others. Mwah.